A couple days ago, I showed you guys a project called Fantasy Top, and since then, this project has absolutely blown up. I want to show you guys how you can get involved because the next tournament starts in about an hour and a half from posting this video, so if you want to get in on that one, do not wait. Okay, this is the Fantasy Top homepage, and there's a lot going on here, but if you're new to this project, it's pretty much just fantasy Web3 heroes. You have all of your Web3 influencers over here, and each of them are going to get a fantasy score based on their engagement, their interaction, and things like that on Twitter. So what you can do is you can go over to your profile and create a deck of 5 cards, each Web3 influencer being one of the cards. As you can see right here, NFT Stats, for example, is one of the cards that I have. You build your 5 cards and then you enter tournaments. And this is the first tournament happening again in 2 hours as of making this video. So I'm trying to get this out to you guys before it happens. So if you want to join it, you can, because this is the first main tournament of the entire project ever. So we know the rewards are going to be absolutely phenomenal. This is the prize pool for the first competition. This first tournament, as you can see right here, is only 4 days long. So in 4 days, you can participate for up to 222,222 Blast Gold. That may seem like, well, why do I care about Blast Gold? At the current estimates, bear case, that's worth about $4 million. So that's a lot of gold for one competition 4 days long. And as of right now, as we can see, there's only 16,000 people in it. So just some quick fun math here. If we took $4 million and divided that by 16,000 participants, each person would get $250. That's if everyone got it split equally. If you do better, if you actually rank like top 1,000 or top 100, you're gonna get way more than that. And that's just the Blast Gold. There's also 50 ETH, which is $150,000, and other things like stars, fantasy points, and more packs. Those don't have necessarily like clear USD value. We'll see why in a second that these things also do matter, especially if you want to keep playing the game for future competitions. So the prize pool and the payout is significantly high. It's worth getting into just to participate and see if you can win anything, because there's a lot at stake here and it's a very short competition, so it's not like you have to put a ton of effort in. In fact, it's really as simple as going on here, getting your cards and putting together 5 cards in a deck and clicking register. That's it. Super easy. Once you've done that, you just sit back and the 4-day competition will commence. And the way the leaderboard works is basically who has the highest score amongst the 5 cards that they have in their deck. So as we can see for the cards right here, each card's gonna have this number on the left right here, which is their hero score, which means this is the amount of points they've gotten in the last 7 days and how well their tweets have done. The number on the right over here is their rank amongst all the heroes. As of making this video, there's about 190 heroes. So if you are in top 20, that's really good. You can see number 21 right here is the best of the ones I have. This guy's number 42, 82, 52, 94. And then if I scroll down my list, I got 121 as my worst ranked guy. So no one's in near the very bottom, but there's definitely a lot more points for the heroes that are farther up the ranks. And these change constantly. Every single hour, these numbers change depending on how much interaction the tweets are getting from each of these influencers. So long story short, you basically want to join, buy some cards, and then put together the best 5 cards you can and enter it into this tournament right here within the next 2 hours before the tournament starts. After that, all you have to do is sit back and watch. If your 5 cards rank best, you'll win fantasy points, you'll win Blast Gold, you'll win potentially some ETH, you'll win more cards which also have value. One of the main things I've seen comments say a lot lately is that to get in and buy a pack, it's 0.376 ETH. This number actually changes over time. The amount that the pack costs changes depends on how many people want to buy packs at that time. So you can see right here on the chart, the lowest that these packs were worth at one point was 0.18, and you get 5 cards in a pack. If you buy a pack, you open it up, you don't know what you're gonna get. You could get legendaries, you could get rares, you could get commons, doesn't matter. But more likely than not, you're gonna get commons, and this thing has gone nuclear. 0.36 ETH is a lot of ETH to spend on cards that are probably going to be common cards, may not be worth their value that you pay for them. So I haven't bought any packs yet. All I've done is go over to the marketplace over here and I go and look for cards. I usually toggle everything off to just common cards. And then I scroll down, I go to rank, I go price low to high, and see the cheapest cards are really not expensive at all, 0.007 ETH. We're talking about $5, $10 for some of these cards. Now, obviously these cards are not ranked nearly as well, right? They're ranked 122. They're all towards the bottom ranking. But the truth is, if you want to build out a deck that's decent, that can compete, or risk a lot of money by buying packs and hoping you get crazy cards, what you could do is come down here and buy cards like Fubar that are potentially a higher upside, but haven't tweeted a lot lately or haven't done a lot of great tweets lately. And you can buy that for 0.09 ETH. And then you can have that common card and build out your deck like that. But what I've been doing is even a step further than that. I would go over to a card like Fubar right here. And what happens is if you have 5 of a card, you can actually burn all 5 to upgrade it to the next rarity. So the strategy I've been doing is I've been going on the marketplace and looking at cards like Pranksy, which I think has a lot of upside, but it's pretty low ranked right now because he hasn't been putting out any banger tweets. And I've been going and buying 5 of these cards, right? So I would go and sweep 5 of these cards for 0.048 ETH, which is really not that much compared to some of these other card costs. Then with those 5 cards, I can actually, you can see right here, level up. I can burn 5 of those cards into a rare version of this card. So we'll have 1 rare version for 5 commons, but the rare version does a 1.5x multiplier on whatever his score is. If I got an epic version, it'd be 2x the score. So I think this is a much better strategy right now, for me at least. I've been buying cheap commons, buy 5 of them, burn them all into an upgraded rare card, and then those rare cards are more often than not, right now at least, more valuable than 5 common cards combined. So I can either go ahead and sell that rare card. You can see all my rare cards right here. I've been actually entering those in the tournaments because those all have the 1.5x multipliers, and that's where you get these higher tournament scores, like 750 as opposed to what it would have been like 500 or so if it was just a common version of that card. So just so you guys have an idea of how much I've spent, I put in 1 ETH into my account and I've spent about 0.6 ETH so far buying cards off the marketplace. And then in the first Flash competition, this was my deck. I had 3 rares. And again, I bought 5 of each of Fubar, Bo Leonidas, and Pranksy, and then burned those all into rare cards. But this is the deck that I put together, and I was ranked 3,639th. I had 2383 fantasy score, and so I didn't do super well in the first competition. It's because I didn't have a lot of crazy high value cards. For example, the guy that won had all rare cards. So it wasn't even like he had crazy legendary or epic cards. Like some of these other guys had 3 epic cards. This guy had 3 legendaries and 4 legendaries and 1 epic card. So obviously having these higher ranked cards will make it a lot better because those multipliers really kick in. But you can see right here, the guy that actually won had just the best influencers, top ranked, right? 1, 2, and 3. 10 and 21, and all those were just rares. Now, obviously these cards are worth a lot right now because you can see that they have a bunch of stars, which means they're really popular influencers right now. Their scores are really high, and he won the whole thing. But my point is, just entering a simple deck like this that didn't cost me this much, this deck probably cost me 0.2 ETH. And as we can see, I actually won 5 gold, 761 stars, and almost 5,000 fantasy points. At the moment, we don't know what fantasy points do, but the stars, if we click on them right up here, these stars are gonna basically be their entry fee to where you can win, again, Blast Gold, ETH, fantasy points, and more cards, which again do have value. So the stars are kind of like a raffle system, and you'll accrue more stars as you play in more tournaments. But the fantasy points, we don't know what these are worth yet. We don't know what they're for. Hopefully they'll be worth something good. I imagine you will be able to use fantasy points to buy cards at some point. Obviously, these will not be worth as much as dollars or ETH will, but I think that's what they'll probably use these for in the future. So one other thing I do want to point out is that even though I have spent 0.6 ETH, you can see my portfolio value right now is over 2 ETH. If I sold all these cards for their floor price right now, I'd come home with 2 ETH, more than 2 ETH, plus my 0.38 that I still have from the initial ETH that I invested, meaning that I turned 1 ETH into 2.4 ETH as of right now. Now, I personally am not going to sell anything because I do think that these cards are going to actually yield me even more prizes because it's so early on. As you can see, there's only 16,000 people registered. That means we're still early. I don't think until we have 50,000 people playing in these tournaments regularly will it be considered that we're, late to the game. This is the very first tournament ever, so I personally think the prizes you can get out of this, especially considering it's 200,000 Blast Gold for this first prize, it's going to be worth it to enter this and just see how it goes. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice. But if you guys do want to join, again, you have 2 hours left to enter this tournament. And you may have missed this, but the Blast jackpot that just came out a couple days ago, the second winner ever was Fantasy. So if you held any of these Fantasy cards in your Blast deck on the dashboard, you would have won a portion of that 16% jackpot. That was 150,000 gold to all the people that had the Fantasy cards in their deck on Blast UI. So you can see right here, Cirrus won 193 gold, but you can see the breakdown was about 50 gold per card. So in my case, I had 17 cards and 5 gold per card would have put me somewhere around 90 gold. Times $10 per gold is about $900 that I would have gotten on the jackpot if I just put my Fantasy cards in there as well. So I'm personally super addicted, and I'm hoping I can get a decent little chunk of this massive prize pool. Maybe they'll even pick Fantasy again later on in the jackpot, so we can win more gold there as well. I think there's a lot going on here that's worthwhile to be invested in. It pays to play the game sometimes. It pays to be early and take chances and try to have some fun. If you want to join, I'll leave my invite code down below, because you do need an invite code to join this project. As of right now, you can't just get in without one. So I'll leave that down below if you guys want to join. And let me know what decks you guys are using. Leave a comment down below with what cards you think are the best. And if you want to join my private VIP group, we're talking about this a lot in there. One of my friends in that group actually got ranked number 23rd overall on this first competition, and he won quite a bit of gold. He won like 335 gold. So join in, have some fun, and we'll see you guys all next time. And before you go, watch this video.